All right, so Brendan, I was thinking for this episode, because we're always sneaking in little wrestling references and stuff, because this movie is a wrestling movie, we should absolutely do our level best to not make any wrestling references whatsoever. Does that sound good to you?
That would be a good idea, and we are sneaky, I will say.
I know, I think it'd be super funny. I think our listeners would really get a kick out of us, going an entire wrestling movie episode without making a single wrestling reference.
What a clever idea. I think we can pull that off.
Sweet. All right, then. I got all set up here.
All right. Well, I think I am too. So I'll just ask you one quick question.
What's that?
Are you ready?
Yeah?
No. I said, are you ready?
Oh, God damn it.
Then, for the thousands of ear holes in attendance, and for the millions
just hit
listening
the
at
theme
home,
song.
You know when I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me, what were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Yeah, like we were going to go an entire episode about a wrestling movie without making a single wrestling reference.
Indeed.
There's one right there for you.
Oh, geez, I didn't even do that one intentionally.
They just come out. They just slip in. It's just so naturally and gracefully
out of nowhere, like an ace crusher.
There you go.
Much like Funaki. For those of you wondering if there's a ghost in the room, we do have a special guest today. I'm Brendan.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Ryan.
Our special guest.
It's Ryan. Yeah. Ryan.
No? They all said hello back to you.
Oh, sorry. Sorry to be back. Thank you. I'm glad I can waste your time with backyard dogs.
Ryan, of course, was on our previous wrestling movie episode, Ready to Rumble, of which this movie may make Ready to Rumble look like the wrestler.
Yeah,
and the Mickey Rourke wrestler, not the
not the Vern Gagne wrestler.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one. No, I'm just joking. Yes, indeed, folks. We are talking about 2000's giant mega hit. TriStar Pictures presents
Artisan releases.
TriStar Pictures
with association with Tokyo Pop.
Backyard Dogs.
Starring Hayabusa. And when we say starring, we mean showing up in the last act of the movie.
Yep.
And now, by starring Hayabusa, do you mean Hayabusa? Because that's how it's written in the credits.
Yes, also the booklet for the DVD also misspells his name too. So a lot of praise and respect to Hayabusa.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace, yes.
I thought it was a Mandela effect that his name was actually spelled that way, so I had to look it up online. Like, nope, they just messed it up really bad. So this film actually does star the Black Power Ranger.
Yes.
And
the Power Ranger that he portrayed wore the black suit. We're not being racist.
No.
Yeah, well, no, he is an African-American gentleman who also played the Black Power Ranger.
Right.
Also, Bree Turner.
Lee Takora, yeah. It reminded me of that joke in The Ref where they asked Dennis Leary when he's pretending to be the psychiatrist, Wong, your last name is Wong? Well, my mother was Irish, and your father wasn't.
Oh, I wish I saw that movie.
You've never seen The Ref?
No.
Oh my god. I know it's a legitimately good movie, and once the Kevin Spacey embargo has been lifted, we should totally do it for our Christmas episode.
The embargo. But I wanted to say also, an actress named Bree Turner, who actually achieved a little bit of fame later on. She was on the show Grimm for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So kudos for getting away from this.
And, the Power Ranger guy did a lot of voice acting work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming on Power Rangers, that'd be great.
No, video games.
Yeah. and other martial arts related movies.
Yep.
Kind of like this, but probably a little bit better. Hopefully better.
Hopefully. Could only be.
Well, in the commentary, they were very proud of their work, both the writer, director, and the actors. They're
You
very
listen to the
proud of their work.
commentary?
What's that?
I just said you listen to the commentary?
Yeah, just for any kind of like interesting tidbits for related for this podcast, and yeah, there's probably some as we go through the course of this movie. But I figured you guys weren't gonna do it, but I figured I'm a big nerd enough to do it anyway.
Damn right we weren't gonna do it.
No, you guys never would do the extra mileage.
JC's talking shit on her own podcast.
Wow.
What a dick.
Friends to the end.
Well, Ryan Gilbert's farewell performance.
Oh, thank you. I'll take Backyard Dogs and make my exit.
Well, you want to end on a high note, right?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Did it?
So this movie
This movie,
is really bad.
Yes.
for 2/3 of it,
No, it's got the production qualities of a Ben and Arthur.
I would argue for 3/3 of it.
did Ben and Arthur also do a lot of cheap shoot day for night kind of stuff? Like this weird blue filter effect to make it look like night?
How many times was Ben and Arthur even outside?
Well, when they were in, Vermont, that was clearly California.
Oh, and after he burned that priest alive.
Yes.
So we start off with a kind of a dubious it's kind of a dubious start because they say that the stats right at the top of the movie are
A
questionable.
lot of research is dubious in this.
There's some number fudging going on at the very least.
Apparently, in the year 2000, there were 18,000 backyard wrestling federations.
Thanks, Conan.
Yes, thank you. 18,000.
Look, it was very, very popular, even by 2000 for backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
But no, definitely
No,
not.
and the growth they are suggesting is 350 in 1998 to 18,000 2 years later.
I suppose if you went around and every boner that got together on the weekends with his friend and put on a costume and wailed on each other in their backyards with sticks counts as a fed, then
regardless if it's filmed or not.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, we do now. Every movie, guys, every great movie does have to have a theme song, and we do have a
Dogs! Backyard
Oh,
dogs!
that's good.
I don't understand any of the lyrics except for Backyard Dogs.
I think that was intended.
I will say it does fit with the demographic of the backyard wrestling fan.
Totally, when you see that opening montage.
That new metal rapcore type.
Should just go right into Limp Bizkit, just like right off the bat.
Yeah.
When you said backyard wrestling fan demographic, I thought you were going to say people with head trauma.
Can it be both?
I guess so, yeah.
I think we're looking at a one and the same type situation.
There's also some red flags right off the bat because like they clearly didn't do like a grammar check on their opening credits. It says this as if it's two words right after one another, not like written and directed. It's just like written directed by Robert Boris. Like he wrote directed it.
Well,
What does that mean?
That's actually a really hard thing to do, Brendan. I don't think you should be taking shots at this man's talent. I mean, to write direct is really the ultimate goal of anybody who's a writer and or director. To be able to write direct is
You write your own directions, or what would be
direct your own writing.
yeah. No, that's
I just think it
that
would've been a
means
better
he direct
movie.
right.
yeah.
I just think it would have been a better movie if he had got someone to help him with part of this because right directing is stressful.
I think it would have been a better movie if he had gotten anybody to help at all.
Make the movie for him.
Yeah.
Write it for him, direct it for him.
Just cast it for him.
He should just pay to go to the movies. Then he would have made a great movie.
Oh, and like, is the opening? I'm assuming the opening footage is like actual footage of terrible backyard wrestling.
Yeah, the director was saying that they got a lot of submissions through the website of just like, hey, we need some like legit backyard wrestlers for this, and it does look legit. It's terrible. It's cringeworthy looking at like how wrestling is evolved into and looking back.
Yeah.
Real backyard
like-
dogs.
Yes, they are.
We should note this. So this movie was released in 2000. So this is like the height of wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Like like maybe not the only height, but definitely the most recent like huge moment in wrestling. The WWE or the WWF at the time
I don't know,
was
2000,
like,
I suppose it'd be hype, but it's actually winding down almost to the end of the Monday Night Wars because what WCW was sold 2001, was it?
Yep. So basically,
But it wouldn't
WrestleMania
be-
17 is that kind of like peak of the peak, and then
Yeah.
everything is
Yeah.
just kind of like trickling down to like the next generation.
But 2000 was like one of the best years that company ever had.
Yes.
WWF/WWE. So I'm just saying, like this is the year where they're like at the top of the mountain.
Just looking forward to
They're
XFL.
making huge numbers. WCW is sinking faster than a stone, and ECW is kind of still out there doing their thing. They're kind of going downhill too in terms of money making.
And Rob
So, I
Black
mean-
is about to take all of his pornography money and turn it into XPW.
Yes, thankfully for us all.
And again, the FMW is supposed to be launching huge here.
Oh my god, when they said that FMW was like the WWF of Japan, I was like,
Wait a
no,
minute.
it is not.
Thank you, because
Yes.
I don't even know about that much about FMW, and just based on that, I was like, they're not the WWF.
No,
of
they were
Japan.
the ECW of
Yes,
Japan.
yes, they were. I'd give them that.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, New Japan Wrestling,
Japan,
But wasn't
All Japan
FMW
Wrestling.
like they had a hand in this, right?
Yes.
So what are
You
you
think-
gonna do?
you
You're
think
gonna
so?
have a hand in producing the movie and go, yeah, go ahead, talk a ton of shit about us. Say that our competitor is the best version of wrestling over where we're from. We won't mind at all.
They could have said it was the ECW of Japan. I think that still would have been complimentary to them.
I don't feel that any the average layperson who may have stumbled upon this movie thinking they were getting something else in a movie called Backyard Dogs would have really understood what that ECW was.
Well, let's get into this movie because we're not even past the opening
Yeah,
credits.
wrestling matches at a quinceañera. It really looked like a birthday party.
It looked like a kid's birthday party, and there's even one spectator jumping up and down on a trampoline.
Except for the fact that there were titties there.
Yeah. Okay, my question
was
is
her
right off the
quinceañera.
bat. My question is right off the bat. The guy that's running it is in a referee shirt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's.
So
are you asking-
so why are the two wrestlers counting their own pins?
An excellent question.
Let's get Robert Boris on the line.
that guy.
Rob, what do you got?
That guy with the ref shirts. Do you guys remember seeing like in various news reports, even back at this time, of like the school of Hard Knocks?
No.
No.
Oh, it's one of those places like guys like Frank and Gazarian would have came from and whatnot.
Okay.
So for this movie, a lot of those guys from that particular school donated their time to be wrestlers
In this movie?
In this movie.
There you go.
And that guy was the owner of it, who
See-
later showed up as a wrestler in Vince Van Patten's backyard.
See, well, this is why we have Ryan on. He listens to the commentary, so we don't have to. Much like we unpack these movies, so you don't have to watch them.
Yeah.
There you go. It's all coming full circle. Yeah. I love how many times in this movie they say it's time for the SmackDown.
Yes.
My question is, oh, I guess WWE would have done the first episode of SmackDown before this. Never mind.
Most
I was
definitely.
really hoping they got the idea from Backyard.
Nope.
I did enjoy all the ADR exposition in this scene.
It's the hottest ticket there is.
the hottest ticket
Backyard
there
fence
is.
all over the country.
Clearly by the 12 people in attendance. So we get the Black Power Rangers showing up. We'll just call him what's his name? Lee?
Lee, yeah.
Okay, we'll call him Lee. So Lee is here with Christy, and he's basically showing her what backyard wrestling is all about. And it's horrible, obviously. We know that right off the bat. It's just terrible. Backyard wrestling is the shits. So he's explaining to her that it's the biggest thing in the world. It's hot. It's what everyone wants to do. Everyone gets together and does the WWF, he says. That's how he says it.
Doesn't
And,
not like they say at What Culture where they do the graps.
Nope. So
Or
he
sorry,
basically
cultaholic.
says-
Cultaholic. I'm not I do those What Culture now. Blech.
He makes he alludes to some kind of like voyeur thing she's done online and then got in trouble for using like underage girls or something.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird way to introduce that character.
Yeah.
and then he says, "I want you to do the same for backyard wrestling."
Listen, I know you're an accidental child pornographer, but we really need somebody to film this and put it on the internet. You're allowed on the internet and access to a computer, right?
Don't worry, there's no underage girls in wrestling.
Oh, meanwhile, titties at a quinceanera.
Yeah. It literally says, it's time for the show, Flash. Not the only time we'll see them either.
Nope. No, I'm alright with that.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
It's just a weird kind of thing that happened, but I wasn't mad.
Not in the least.
Yeah, so I just have a note here when they're wrestling that says, oh shit, not a powerbomb on the mattress. Because they're wrestling on, like, mattresses, which is supposed to make them look like badasses, I guess.
Yeah.
Backyard?
I mean, I don't know. It just seems like all the backyard stuff is like, we're hardcore. We set up these fucking king-size mattresses.
Like, no, you're not hardcore. You just have no bank.
Mm-hmm. But here we meet, introducing, the credits say, introducing actor Scott Hamm as Cole,
I really wish he would ham it
Paperboy.
The Paperboy. What's that?
up. I really wish he would ham it up. Because he had, like, no charisma.
Oh, yeah.
He had a genuine charisma and connected with the crowd. I think that's what Christy tells us.
I wasn't convinced.
He had such a dead-eyed stare that later, when he's trying to get with Christy, he comes off as super rapey. Like a total sociopath.
In every single scene.
Yep.
So he shows up as the Paperboy on top of the inexplicably on top of the roof of the house.
That's not good for the roof. That's going to cause it to leak. That's what my parents always told me. Get off the roof. You're going to make it leak. Not because you might fall and hurt yourself, but you might cause a leak, and then we'll have to pay money to fix our roof. Oh, and you might fall. Just get off the roof, Nathan.
Exactly.
I've led an interesting life.
Where were the parents? But Cole jumps off the roof onto this guy because he's like,
But
Paperboy!
why? Why does he call himself the Paperboy?
Because he has a newspaper.
Nope. Because he delivers.
He always delivers? Oh, Jesus.
Why hasn't that been done in wrestling?
They say it right in the movie like 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
He delivers.
I may have blocked parts of this out.
I can't say I blame you.
And immediately his dead-eye stare and his stupid I hate him so much. And Christy just looks at him and is just like wet.
Yeah, she's got like a lake in the trousers. Like, cannot get. Well, you know what? Maybe she's into Dead-Eyed Valley Boys.
Do you want to like compare like him or like again? She was in like Deuce Bigelow. So do you want to go with Scott Hamm or Rob Schneider?
Rob Schneider.
Fair enough. Getting the copies.
At least he has.
He delivers copies too.
At least he has charisma, and you might make some bank being in one of his movies.
This is also true.
Maybe 50 cents more, so that's fair.
At the very least, you'll get to meet Adam Sandler and Kevin James.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, Adam Sandler.
Nothing wrong with Kevin James. He seems like a nice chap.
You can talk about wrestling with Kevin James as well.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
Guys, have we made any wrestling references yet?
Yeah. Ryan made a mention about an Ace Crusher.
Damn it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so she instantly falls in love with him. Then he gets a chair smashed over his back. And we learn that Lee and Cole are a tag team.
The worst tag team combination ever.
The Backyard Warriors.
Yeah, one of them's a paperboy and the other's a ninja.
I can't think of any other warriors in my eyes.
I mean, I can't think of 2 other gimmicks that would fit well together. That well together.
I did during the first match, Christy's like, "That's real blood." Yeah, cool, isn't it, lady?
Right. I feel like in this movie, no one knew what wrestling really was, no one knew what the internet really was, and no one knew what filmmaking was.
Well, as far as your first 2 points, at that time, that'd actually be a pretty apt description of the way people were reacting with wrestling and the internet. Not a whole lot of people really knew much about it, at least in the mainstream anyways, because the internet had just only blown up within the last half a decade at that point.
Yep.
So.
Oh no, but I'm referring to the rules that we get into later.
Oh, okay. I just thought you meant in general.
Yeah, some of the backstage stuff we'll talk about when we get to it.
They go to Pancake Heaven. I want to go to Pancake Heaven.
Is that where they go?
That's where they go to eat. Not the International House of Pancakes, not the House of Waffles. Pancake Heaven.
And this is where Christy makes a drastic character change, because she goes from someone who has no idea what this wrestling stuff is, suddenly she is a fucking expert. She's like, listen, the paperboy gimmick sucks, kid. Lose it. We gotta get you a new look. Look, I'm gonna Steven Spielberg you kids into Blair Witch Country.
I thought she was just super motivated for being so in love with this charismatic star that she spent all night just doing research, valiant effort of backyard wrestling.
Maybe she might have watched a ton of, like, I don't know, tapes or DVDs that she could have gotten for, like, WCW and WWF at the time, because she was like, outlaws are big, and we're gonna get you some tattoos and some piercings. First of all, let's talk about the Paperboy.
Okay.
He is
He always
going to university on a wrestling scholarship.
Right.
I really have to point out that anybody going to school on an athletic scholarship, especially a wrestling scholarship, is not going to endanger said scholarship by participating in backyard feds where people are wailing on each other with bats and chairs and wrestling on dirty old bed-bug-infested mattresses.
So what you are insinuating is that the university would look down on this.
That and the NCAA.
I suppose, but the NCAA Backyard Wrestling Federation might like it.
No, because he's doing it to get paid, and if you're an NCAA athlete, you're not allowed to get paid.
Well, shit.
There you go.
But don't worry, because Cole is about to get a complete makeover. Cole the Outlaw Davis.
Good Lord. You know what? It actually made me long for the Paperboy gimmick, because at least that was funny and intriguing.
Did you hear what? So this is where. So basically, they want her to go on the net and pump them up, like get them all like hyped up. Did you hear what her original plan was? She said, "I'm just gonna go on a bunch of wrestling websites and spam."
Yes.
Yeah, that was the appropriate approach at the time.
But like, anybody could have done that. They didn't need to hire an expert.
No, this is true. Well, they may have been, total dumbcoffs when it comes to the internet.
I suppose.
So that's a possibility too.
I just think it's funny that she's like, I've got this great idea. I'm just gonna I'm gonna make a website, and I'm gonna put the link on a whole bunch of other websites
On their guest books.
Like, wow, revolutionary.
It's grassroots guerrilla marketing, underground stuff. Come on, Brendan, you wouldn't know. As somebody who's trying to promote a podcast, you'd have no idea about
I don't
guerrilla
spam
grassroots
websites.
promotion.
Should I be spamming more websites?
As many as possible, yes.
Oh, okay. I got a question,
That's
guys.
how we get on Al Jazeera, remember?
You're right. I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
How exactly do they become known as the Backyard Dogs?
The best way to do a movie title drop, really.
The absolute way that they decided to make this movie. Somebody stepped in a giant pile of dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not getting in my car with the shit all over your shoes.
No.
And doesn't she then proceed to get into her car and take off?
Whose car was that? I did not know. I don't know whose car that is, because sometimes she's in it, sometimes Lee's driving it, sometimes
It's just stock footage of people driving around California, Los Angeles with it.
Exactly.
Backyard
I have no
dogs!
idea.
Backyard dogs!
Oh, they're good. Oh, fuck this movie. So
they're trying to angle for to get into a tournament, which is like the Backyard Wrestling Championships held in Beverly Hills.
Grand, this
Right.
is great for a video game, but not for a movie.
Well, first of all, that whole thing that reminds me of Lionheart right out of the
Okay,
gate.
fair enough. Yeah.
First of all, but secondly, if I'm thinking about a Backyard Wrestling Federation having a tournament, I don't think it's going to be happening in Beverly Hills.
are you sure?
Maybe in Modesto.
That's
Get at us, Stephen Izzy. You know California.
where do you go to watch your backyard wrestling, guys?
Or where would you? Well, I mean, by Izzy's description of where they live, it probably is not too far from where they're at.
This is true. But anyway, so she puts her plan into action, which is to film the Backyard Dogs as a sort of reality show.
And during this whole thing, it must have been quite cold in California because her nipples were displayed prominently. And I'm not mad at them.
No.
I mean, I'm not going to complain.
I enjoy how you said that in the most proper, like, gentlemanly way possible.
You kind of have to.
Well, yeah, if you're talking about nipples, you need to be
Her
respectful, Brendan.
nipples were displayed prominently.
It's not like we're talking about Mariah's junk or her tuberculosis.
Oh my goodness.
I don't... I have to be respectful of the nips, but not so much of the, the hermaphroditic genitalia and, possible consumption.
People, if this is your first episode listening to us, guys, you have no idea what's going on.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, reality show time.
I could run down the backstory if you want.
No, we don't have time.
Okay.
So Christy has one cameraman, by the way, we should mention that first, and she's filming Cole waking up and drinking coffee, but you know what? They didn't get the ass shot. Gonna have to do it again.
No, they need to get the ass shot. Yeah, you didn't get the ass shot. You need to get the ass shot.
Gotta get that ass shot. There's nothing I hate worse than a shitty ass shot. That's what she says.
She's not wrong.
An ass shot that looks like shit.
The funny thing with this whole stuff is that, like you said before, I suppose it probably is the fact that she's trying to make a movie, but she goes from having no real concept of wrestling to going into full blown kayfabe mode.
Yeah.
Like she's setting up this presentation of his existence, living in an RV and having a really crappy life, but doing it all for the glory. And he's like, I have a dorm room back at the college I go to.
And she's like, no. That's our little secret.
Yeah. Kayfabe.
So, yeah, that's what I had that note too. Like, she suddenly knows everything about everything. So shortly after this, they bring him in to get a tattoo.
Yeah, and here's where I have to ask: why didn't he just get like henna?
A what?
Henna tattoo. Like he's supposed to have a tattoo.
Oh, like
right?
a temporary.
But he doesn't.
One?
Yeah, he doesn't want to get a tattoo. But he's like, well, this is permanent, and it's like, if you get a henna tattoo, it's gonna last you a little bit, and it's not permanent.
Also, isn't the tattoo they choose? It doesn't end up being his tattoo, right?
No. And it's super generic either way.
It's like a chain around his arm.
Yeah,
it's all he gets.
Look.
Very Goldbergy, yes.
So he obviously he's at the notion of getting a tattoo, he vomits, and the cameraman says, "Looks like our dog's coughed up a hairball." I'm sorry, that's cats.
Cats, yes,
Cats.
cats. I have that exact note. Cats cough up hairballs.
Cats, not dogs. Dumbass.
Wait, it doesn't get any better from there because we go to a trampoline wrestling association.
Right, with starring
Frank Kazarian.
before he was anybody.
Yeah. Well, this is like Ryan said. He was probably from the School of Hard Knocks.
And also that school with John Cena and whatnot.
Oh, right. So, oh man, can you imagine if John Cena had shown up in this movie?
The prototype coming
That
in.
would have been hilarious.
Oh my god. Frankie Kazarian, I gotta say, I know he's not an actor, and I know he's not even necessarily good as a promo guy, but holy shit.
You were going to say as a person.
Yeah, jeez.
No, I was just gonna say, holy shit, his acting is so bad, he doesn't even know what to do with his arms when he's standing.
And he does a lot of work with those arms in the actual wrestling match itself. too.
I'd actually forgotten that trampoline wrestling was a thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so they find out it's trampoline wrestling, and they're like, no, fuck this, we don't want to do this shit. You need
this.
you need a parachute to come down.
How about a trunk match?
Yeah, okay.
No, you got us.
A fucking trunk match?
You want to explain to us what a trunk match is, Brendan?
It is where you wrestle another individual until
Correct.
you have incapacitated them enough to put them into the trunk of a car and close it.
So it's a poor man's casket match.
Right. Also, they wrestle Cole
Or a rich man's dumpster match.
Well, Cole and oh, by the way, his name is Snake Duggan.
Yep.
Might as well call him.
That's it. Oh,
Might as well.
homage, come
Yeah,
on.
I think it's a.
Yeah, you might as well call him fucking Hitman Snuka.
Whoa. Let's dial that back there. You got all kinds of implications with that name you've just picked.
Yeah. Or Rick Hogan, stuff like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll go with Rick
No,
Hogan.
I like Hitman Snuka because let's allude to it.
Jesus.
Jimmy Snuka is a murderer. But his name is Snake Duggan, which was
The opinions of Brendan Wall are that of his own, and not that a reflection of what were they thinking. This has been
killed his girlfriend.
allegedly.
Vince McMahon covered it up. I'm uncovering it.
I just don't know. Could be either way. I need more hard evidence, honestly.
Vince
I'm a
McMahon,
big Tommy Dreamer fan.
tweet me. I'm sorry, guys. I got on my soapbox. But yeah, where were
There's
we?
betting on wrestling in this movie.
Yes, Lee is taking side bets on a professional wrestling match, and also so Lee gets in the car and backs it up so he can put Snake Duggan in the trunk. How did he have the keys?
Well, that's first of all. Secondly, you'd think that if this was a trunk match, they would have had the car already backed into place.
That too. Why did they just be like, well, if we have a trunk match, obviously Lee is going to show up and drive it in place.
Because, I mean, whenever you have a casket match, the casket is usually at ringside.
Yes.
If you have a stretcher match, the stretcher is usually somewhere around the ringside.
Correct.
If there's a tables match, the tables, again, under the ring or at ringside.
Even like something like a hearse match or an ambulance match, they have them right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I also
Remember when Braun Strowman had famously
Yeah.
noted that he was not finished with Roman Reigns?
Exactly.
In that ambulance match, the ambulance was there at the entranceway.
I want to note too that they both showed up to wrestle and only Cole wrestled.
Always have.
Well, yeah, because that match that he ended up doing was an impromptu thing because they had no idea that it was a trampoline federation. So,
But that's not the only time.
that's the only explanation I can pop off the top of my head.
That's not the only time this happens, though.
Oh, well, you know.
I have a note here because I really enjoyed the extras because it looks like they got paid like nothing because they are barely engaged in any of it.
My favorite is the Ace Ventura Beagle Boy crossover dude from the next match after this one.
Okay. Did not notice him per se, but I will.
Well,
I will.
Were these extras anyone like that you'd want to see? Like, oh, what's an interesting extra there? Who's pulling focus or anything like that?
I will.
None of them were. They did their job perfectly. As didn't know what they were watching. Fans.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this: I will not go back and check it, so I'll take your word for it.
Why,
But
thank
you own it now, Brendan.
I own this fucking movie.
There you go.
$4.
Best $4 spin. I must guess.
You guessed incorrectly.
Oh, dang it.
So after this fucking trunk match, we go to the hotel room. We get some steamy chemistry between Cole and
some
Christy.
nice side boob.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, come on, side boob. I mean, let's
It's good.
turn around.
Well, no, I mean, listen, you're able to use your imagination because, as we noted before, her nipples were prominently on display through her shirt earlier, and then you get some side boob, and you just gotta, Brendan, you just gotta use some imagination. Don't be so lazy.
Well, you know what? I will say this. I think that they're suggesting a duality of character here between Christy and the lady earlier who removed her top. I think they're trying to say that there's a certain class about her not existing in the other female character because we get a sort of nuance. You know what? Fuck this.
So what you're saying is that this movie is slut-shaming.
Yes, but only one girl and not the other one. But yeah, Cole goes into Christy's room. He is such an idiot. Clearly he hears a shower running.
You could just stop right there because he is such an idiot.
Well, this is my thing. Clearly he hears a shower running. He asks 3 times what she's doing. No, I'm just running the shower and standing in here.
Well, he could be, again, this is the first scene where he's trying to, make some time with her. He might be, being in a really dumb way, trying to get her to say, that she's like touching herself. Describe to me what you're doing in the shower.
What are you doing
Are
in
you
there?
using soap?
Grab.
You're a dirty girl.
What are you doing in there? Grabbing in my boobies. Is that what he expected?
Considering that he's obviously hard up to take no for an answer in the following scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably.
Just do whatever you're doing. Let me just look at your size 30 font on your laptop.
Oh Lord. So
no peeking at the computer.
Yeah, so he looks
font
over
size 42, ma'am.
He looks over at her computer and he sees her write-up, her terrible write-up about the match that we just saw. And then she says, "I'm typing up your background." That's not his background. That's what we just watched.
That's his backstory.
Backstory,
maybe?
yeah. No, the backstory. And then, this fucking movie. So then she's talking about how he's like he's supposed to be like an outlaw, like greasy outlaw, right?
On a steel horsey ride,
Right.
yes.
Yes, he is John Bon Jovi. And then right after that,
wanted dead or alive.
Right after that, they come up with this farm story, and I'm like, what? That has nothing to do with what you said earlier at all.
Nope. The interesting thing about it is his actual story would have made for maybe some compelling copy as well. I mean, the guy is going to school on a wrestling scholarship, I'm guessing because his parents couldn't afford to send him to a nice college, and he's working this backyard circuit to make money to help him get through school. Mm-hmm. It is a very working class story that would definitely appeal to people who are in the same type of situation. So there's not a whole lot of his actual life that you have to change, rather than come up with this stupid generic outlaw gimmick, give him a shitty Goldberg tattoo, and just tell him, just lose the charisma. Oh wait, he'd already lost the charisma. He never really had it.
What charisma?
Yeah. Well, but this is a part where he's trying to make time with her, and because his lack of charisma and ability, he just comes off as a predator.
Yeah.
And not the kind that versus aliens.
Coming soon.
Hopefully.
Well, we'll see. It's in the hat, as it were.
Even if it doesn't, it will.
Yeah.
Coming eventually.
I'm sure it will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he does. He gets right in her face. He basically, they have the chemistry of Humphrey Bogart and I can't think of anyone.
Or Marlon,
I love that person.
Or Marlon Brando in The Last Tango in Paris.
Oh, good God.
You're welcome.
Oh, if anybody's seen that movie, yeah.
Or knows that story.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty similar to that. So she kicks him out because she's like, "Listen, you ain't getting none of this." He goes to Lee.
He shuts down his whole Duke University lacrosse team antics.
He goes to Lee's room. Jesus, Nathan. and Lee is getting ready to get
all kinds of titties.
Yeah, yep. He's dancing with her though.
She's got a tramp stamp and everything.
Yeah, he's dancing with the topless girl from earlier.
Well, yeah. It's foreplay, Brendan.
And then she says, "My name is Linda. I love wrestlers."
Hey, you know what? Do what you love.
Oh, boy.
And if that happens to be wrestlers.
So at this point, we get the one of the big points of the movie here, because they make a bet.
And what can go wrong when two guys bet on a girl, right?
Nothing.
That's never been troped to death in a movie.
Never. Because you know what they say? You know what they say about this girl is that she's all that.
Bet is on.
Ba-ding. I don't know what ba-ding is, but I used it anyway.
Were you trying to go... Were you looking for like a rim shot type thing?
A rim job?
Rim shots, Brendan? Come on. Don't be that. That's the worst kind of comedy.
We were just having fun.
Did you just say?
Dude, we were having fun. You had to go too far.
I'm not looking for a rim job, guys. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh, you're going with girlfriend with a giant dong, so.
Wow.
And consumption.
What does it do with a rim
Theater
job?
of the minds, people. Theater of the minds.
If you don't know what it is, Google it. Rim job.
Tuberculosis.
So so they make a bet, $1,000 that he's gonna sleep with Christy. Cole's gonna sleep with Christy, and Lee is all, "Nah, you ain't gonna do that." But then we go to the second wrestling match, which that may be their toughest opponents yet.
Alcatraz
and the
Raptor.
What's your finish? Oh, it's called the Spinal Tap. It's pretty much a power bomb off the top rope through a table on the concrete floor.
That's the only accurate thing about this movie. It's like wrestlers who would mark out for themselves to be like, yeah, I do this, and then like it's like really cool move and all.
Shooting star press into a sharpshooter.
Shooting star press into a DDT.
First of all, no one's taken your fucking powerbomb off the top rope through a table on the concrete floor. Second of all,
Because you have zero training.
yeah. Second of all, what concrete floor? You are in a yard.
And Patty watched this movie with me, God bless her.
Oh, boy.
And when Raptor showed up, she was like, "What the fuck is he wearing?"
He is a 10-year-old child.
he's got like a skater helmet on with a Raptor mask pulled over top of it. It looked just awful.
Yep.
Just terrible.
Their acting is quite good though. We want the backyard dogs, so come on out, punks.
And this is the this is another match that is self-ref.
Yes.
Yeah.
Self-refereed. It's like DDP of referees.
Self-referee.
Oh no, we gonna get sued by Nirvana.
Ripoff.
Nirvana ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mighty Ninja.
So this is again much like earlier, where Cole was the only one to wrestle. Lee is the one that wrestles this time against both of them.
Yep.
It's like what? What was I gonna say?
It's okay because everything got kiboshed because Dad.
That's the only accurate part of this movie.
Yeah.
This is the only part of this movie where I said, you know what? If this movie had been more like this, I would have enjoyed it more.
Then all the matches would have been canceled via Dad.
Yes. Because Raptor's dad shows
I can
up.
imagine of those 18,000 feds, 17,995 of them had shows canceled that day due to Dad.
See, I would totally believe that.
It's like a statistic that comes up at the end of the movie. Every year.
Hi, Dad, you're embarrassing me.
Every year, 500
story
backyard
backyard
wrestling
wrestling.
federations get shut down due to Dad. It's a serious affliction, and it affects this many
Dad's biggest heel.
this many Raptor gimmicks.
Oh my God, that would have been actually in a legitimate backyard wrestling situation in a federation where they needed a top heel. Ladies and gentlemen, Dad. He comes into like Jim Neighbors music.
And he has the paper like the paper boy.
You boys didn't take the garbage out.
Trash.
He comes out with
We're bookers.
his manager is like a police officer.
No, his manager is like another dad who's like in like
Crocs with socks on.
who's in like the Shriners with them or something.
By God, that man is with Dad. He's alive with
All
Dad.
the promos are dad jokes.
It's this manager, Jimmy.
Jimmy from down the
Son, you know Jimmy.
Jimmy from down the street. He's got a cup of sugar in his hand. There's his gimmick right there. Instead of throwing the salt in the eyes, he just throws the cup of sugar.
Sugar.
Oh man, we can make it work, guys. Let's just stop this podcast right now and start our own backyard. I'll play the
You're
dad.
the dad? Okay.
I'm clear. I've already got the chops for it.
Yep,
I got
fair
2
enough.
kids and no patience for your tomfoolery.
This movie is already better than Backyard Dogs.
There we go.
But I guess we
You
should.
mean our federation is already better than backyard dogs?
Yeah.
What
Well,
were they thinking? Backyard Federation.
I guarantee between the three of us, we know more about wrestling than anybody in this fucking movie except for Hayabusa.
Yeah.
That's actually that's a pretty safe bet.
So okay, so
And
the
Frank Kazarian's in this movie.
oh, that's
so.
true. I guess except for Hayabusa,
We know way more than Frank Kazarian.
I don't know about that.
I do.
You think you know more about wrestling than Frankie Kazarian?
Yeah. I feel safe in that.
Frankie, please reply. We really want to hear from you.
Frankie has been wrestling for like 17 years.
You can be wrestling for 17 years and still not know dick all about wrestling.
Look at Beefcake.
Are you calling him out? Are you not a Kazarian fan?
I have no strong feelings one way or the other in reality.
Uh,
I mean, if there's a situation where like it's only Frank Kazarian, just let him do his thing. It's fine. He'll sleep well tonight. Make sure you give him his juice box.
wow.
He was really impressive as soon as he tagged up with Christopher Daniels. That's when his charisma actually really showed.
Now, if Christopher Daniels were in this
he was
movie,
going to
I'd
be
be like,
great.
nope, he knows way more than I do. Nope.
Nathan calling out Frankie Kazarian. Did not think I would hear that.
Okay.
Uh,
If it makes you feel any better, neither did I, because that's not what I was thinking of doing when I started out this morning.
I think you did. I think you knew what you were doing.
Nope, not at all.
So let's go to the second match they have.
Oh,
Sorry, not the second match. The third match, I guess.
the Smark dialogue in this is just off the rails.
Well, let's tell the folks what Smark dialogue, what we mean by that.
Well, a Smark is a wrestling fan who feels that they have some sort of modicum of knowledge because they are aware of the fact that it is predetermined, and they will often talk in a way, not unlike that we're doing today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really. But they'll talk about the backyard, the backstage goings-ons of the WWE, and they'll oftentimes talk about like legitimate heat or rivalries or feuds that might be going on backstage that aren't presented out in the ring.
Well, let me ask you guys a question then. I mean, the three of us, we've all worked for independent wrestling.
Yep.
You're telling me that you've never heard a promoter say the following. All right, guys, it's a good gate out there. No, we're not SummerSlam yet, but we're getting close. Vince McMahon,
Nope.
Ted Turner, bite me.
No.
We'll slice and dice after the SmackDown. So what we're gonna want specifically, let's lay this match out. We want 15 minutes of pile drivers, bone crushers, you know the deal. 60% to the winners, 40% to the losers, and that's when the red flag went off in my head. I was like, wait.
About that margin?
Wait
Yeah.
a second.
Well, they're splitting the purse like it's a legitimate contest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? And then
generous.
we learned that they give a signal, and then it becomes a quote-unquote shootout.
Yeah, like it's a real... Okay, so yes, at the risk of sounding smarky, I'll put this out there. None of that stuff ever happens at any show or booking meeting that I've ever been a part of.
Likewise.
It's always been like, this is your PO, you're going over, this is your PO, you're doing the job.
Right.
It is staged from beginning to end.
It's all part of a big show.
Yes.
You guys,
It all connects together.
You guys, and they'll probably also say, you guys have 10 minutes, you guys have 15 minutes, you guys have 5 minutes, whatever.
Yep. And oftentimes it'll be like, if you've got 5 minutes and you're on the undercard, do not do something that outshines the main event.
Right. If you're opening the show, don't do a corkscrew shooting star press off the top rope through a table on the outside of the floor.
Or,
into a DDT.
Or second match, they do a Canadian destroyer off the top rope.
2 Canadian destroyers.
Yes, 2 of those. Yeah.
That
We
was
actually saw that at a show.
That was the opening match at a show I saw.
Yeah,
And we might be talking about the same show.
possibly.
Quite a few years ago, yes?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think we're talking about the same thing. We'll I don't want to name names. We'll talk about it after we're off the air.
We'll talk about it off there, yeah.
So yeah, none of that shit happens, guys. It's
Also, no one ever talks about their independent federation in relation to where Vince McMahon or Ted Turner were at that time.
yeah. That's just
Nobody ever has illusions of that kind of grandeur when your drawing crowd is at a community hall in a small southern New Brunswick town.
right.
Exactly.
Because I've never heard a single promoter say, "Guys, watch out, WWE, here we come."
Yeah, never.
Never. If anything, when the WWE does good, it benefits everyone.
Well,
Well,
when it
whatever.
does well.
You know what I'm
When it
saying.
does well.
When they do well, it benefits everyone underneath.
yes.
It's not.
Yes, because if it draws eyes to their product and it gives it a higher profile in the mainstream, it makes people want to go out and support the independents in their area.
Exactly.
Because you can get into an independent show for $10 instead of spending $120 pissing dollars at a WWE show. I'm not naming any locations or anything, but
Or anything that's coming up recently.
yeah.
Um,
Their matches in a parking lot. It's
Yeah.
in a hotel courtyard.
with Voodoo Jones, this is the guy they're facing because he's gonna come back a few times.
And what was up with those entrance ramps?
I
That was legitimately set up that way so that the dynamic dude could skate down.
Oh.
Nobody else made use of those
the
entrance
Mad
ramps.
Skater was the best. The Mad Skater is Voodoo Jones' tag team partner, who is literally a man on a skateboard.
The tag
Tony Hawk's
teams.
games were pretty popular at the time.
the tag teams in this movie are so slapped together and nonsensical. It is an absolute shame.
Including
multiple times,
including the tag team, like that's the subject of the movie.
Yeah. Like we joked earlier, but that legitimately a paperboy and a ninja.
Yeah.
Or an outlaw and a ninja. What is this, Shanghai Noon?
No, exactly. It's just so many different gimmicks. You would think like this would be a more interesting approach than just like the most generic things you could think of. But that's typically how they do things for wrestling related things in movies.
So a fairly accurate thing does happen here, though, because the promoter calls the cops on his own show and kind of stiffs people out of some money.
I could see that legitimately happening.
And basically, you know, the backyard dogs run off. These police show up, and people are terrified. Everybody is screaming at the top of
like
their
it's
lungs.
a raid or something.
Yeah, like it's a drug raid.
Which, just like timing wise, like everyone was filing out so fast when they pulled up. It was like only 2 cops, and like Lee and Cole are just like taking their sweet old time to escape. Like, those cops should be just like looking dead right there. It's like, who else is in this parking lot?
You know, given the fact that this whole thing is taking place in Southern California and it was at a motel, I think it would have made a better social statement had he called immigration. Then I could see everybody scattering to the wind when immigration shows up.
Right? This is the ATF!
In Southern California. Yeah.
So the backyard dogs reconvene in front of the motel. We get some more seduction here from Cole, which is a great line because Christy says, "I'm up to my cleavage in litigation," and he says, "That's not a bad thing because you have really nice cleavage."
Charming man. Charming.
Also, no girl. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not gonna say no girl because I'm sure someone's probably said it sometime in their life, but I don't think that's a line some girl would say. I'm up to my cleavage in litigation.
No, if any girl is going to talk about being up to their tits and something, they're going to go say tits.
They're gonna say tits, or they're gonna say I'm up to my ass, or something like that.
Yeah. Eyebrows, ears.
Yeah. So then
No one's going to say cleavage.
the dogs find out that those guys that stiffed them out of money are working out at their Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
Their outdoor gym that is clearly like someone's like alleyway. They basically show up and beat the shit out of them and get their money. Which they then
that's
put on the website.
That's how you get paid. That's how you get paid in
That's how
wrestling.
you get paid. You beat the shit out of the promoter, you get your paycheck.
Every show that I've ever done. I mean,
Yeah. Well, remember we had to like hold Ryan down because he was like, he wasn't shelling it out that one show.
Hot take.
And then we still didn't get paid. Hey, so
Oh.
he's not gonna listen to this. Don't worry. So they get their money, and then they go back to the hotel again.
They get their money from Bad Bob in Sacramento.
Bad Bob.
Bad Bob. Sacramento.
And then we learn that ESPN wants an interview with
Yeah,
Cole.
right.
What the fucking shit? I'm all for suspension of disbelief in a movie, but that is no.
Well, they're breaking ground. They're going total Blair Witch country with their web. I can't even.
See, this whole social media thing, you could do somewhat, maybe not the backyard element, but the whole aspect of social media.
If this movie had been made approximately 8 years later,
Yeah.
they could have actually played up a lot more on the whole social media Twitter thing, because Facebook blew up in like what, 2007. So I mean, if they had waited, like because if this movie had come out then, there would have been a lot more stuff that they could have done with it. As it's set in this, we were dealing with a time of MySpace and AOL Instant Messenger and Real Player.
Right. Yeah, it would have taken people like 20 minutes to load the videos that she posts.
And it would have been constantly buffering.
Make sure no one's on the phone at the same time.
You kids, get off the phone. I'm waiting for a very important business call.
But Mom, backyard dogs!
This isn't your mom, this is your dad.
Sorry, Dad, I almost forgot.
You're a great wrestler, by the way.
Take out the trash.
Is that your finish, Dad?
Yes, and it's going to be yours if you don't take out the damn trash.
Boo!
Okay, so...
We'd make $1 million, guys. We'd make $1 million.
I know, it's gonna happen. Don't take our idea, guys. I might have to edit this out so nobody steals it.
I like how Christy's just bragging on about how they've created the world's very first interactive soap opera.
Well,
because she wants people to vote on which one she goes out with. Is it just me, or is she sending a lot of super mixed signals
yeah,
to these poor guys?
yeah, and I also don't understand why that has to be part of this. Like, part of building.
She's already
them up.
gotten in trouble for, putting bad touch stuff on the internet.
She's like-
so why would she go try to do that again?
She's like, guys, you pick the guy, and I'm gonna have a big old date with him.
Yeah.
Okay, this is...
Or if it's Cole, a medium-sized date.
Yeah, if it's Cole, we're gonna awkwardly stare at each other.
Oh,
I got your joke.
Okay.
I just... I knew what you were alluding to.
Didn't want to go there.
Yeah, because we're so classy.
We are very classy. We are fucking classy as fuck.
Fucking classy as fuck. That's right.
No fucking shit.
Yeah, no fucking shit.
Oh, censors are calling us now to tell us to
sorry.
stop. Sorry. No.
Uh-oh, fuck.
Maybe they won't think we're here. That's how phones work,
Yes. No, it worked!
right? Scared there for a minute.
This is my favorite part coming up because it makes no sense, and it goes back to... Well, a lot of it makes no sense, but it goes back to my thing where the people that made this movie don't know anything about wrestling, because we get this hotshot backyard wrestling promoter with his little Bluetooth thing, and he's just like playing basketball and, hanging out, talking on the phone. He says, I'm not paying 20 grand for an arena over the phone, and then he says, what is Goldberg asking? As if the wrestler
$5 million.
As if the wrestler Goldberg owns another arena that he wants to buy. Like, that's what it sounded like to me.
Or if he's trying to book Goldberg,
That also makes no sense.
if you're not willing to pay 20 grand to rent an arena, you're certainly not going to have the money to get Goldberg at this time.
Greg Valentine would. He actually showed up in Backyard Promotions a few years ago.
Oh, great.
Now, we actually, Ryan really here has pointed out a couple of things to me about our promoter. He's a Van Patten.
Okay.
Part of the proud Van Patten line.
Yep. And apparently, he was a tennis guy.
A tennis guy?
Yeah, he was a tennis player.
Okay.
And he was in this movie. And Ryan, what were you saying that they had him do at first? That little bit of business.
Yeah, the actor was just like, you know what? People think I'm this big tennis star. You know what? I'm gonna play basketball. That'll show them. That'll be really funny.
Okay.
I was laughing for a second after the fact, I guess.
Because the thing is, Ryan had to research to get that joke. Ryan had to do if somebody who is the target demographic of your movie has to do research to get your joke, you are not doing very well.
Also, it'd be very misguided on him to think that his fan base of tennis fans would really want to watch this movie.
I had no idea who he was.
Yeah, he's like Dick Van Patten's nephew.
Yeah, something like that's how the only thing Nathan and I will associate. It's like, oh, he's Dick Van Patten's nephew.
If you ever watch the
Is Dick Van Patten from Spaceballs?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he was Princess Vespa's dad.
Yeah.
But he was, as a Mystery Science Theater fan, if you've ever seen the Master Ninja episodes, there's a really fantastic host segment where Crow T. Robot breaks down the Van Patten family like they're the mafia in Hollywood, and they make mention of this specific Van Patten playing tennis.
Okay.
So, do yourself a favor, watch the Mystery Science Theater, not Backyard
No,
Dogs.
do not watch Backyard Dogs.
Yeah. That's why we're doing this for you people.
That's right.
So you don't have
This is one of the ones, spoiler alert, we are not recommending.
Absolutely.
Maybe 5 minutes of Hayabusa. That's it.
Yeah. So, so this...
They drive to the next venue in their gear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brendan, did you ever go to a wrestling venue dressed as your wrestling or managerial character, rather?
Well, I will tell you this, Nathan. I've done it once in my whole life, and that's only because we got there right when the show started, and we were first.
Okay, but that's understandable.
Yes, but any other time,
Get in, get out
no.
kind of thing.
No, you go with your stuff, and you get dressed at the show, at the venue, and then you get changed back into your street clothes when the show is over.
Correct.
You don't wander around in your gear all the time.
Getting all that sweat on your gear anyway beforehand.
Yeah, I generally don't show up at noon for a show that starts at 7 in my gear.
In a barn.
Yeah, in my... Oh, in a barn. Yes, this is the barn fight, isn't it? Where they're going to fight the 14-year-old boy.
Yep.
Guess who's back, though? Voodoo Jones breaks it up.
Yeah. I like how they make a reference about how he's not going to wrestle this 14-year-old, and how there's no way the kid could have the training. He's like, at what point in life did Rey Mysterio start wrestling?
I believe he was
Around
14.
the same age, yeah.
Yep. So there you go.
Also, it's who is Cole? Who is Cole?
And he
to
has the
say-
best gear in this movie.
Who is Cole
that
to
kid?
say
Yeah, that kid.
I'm not going to wrestle someone that's untrained?
Yeah, you're a backyard wrestler.
So Cole is a trained wrestler. Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, Cole is a trained wrestler in that he is going to school on a wrestling scholarship.
Sure.
However, I would say for him to say I'm not wrestling a trained wrestler is absolutely ludicrous, because 99% of the people on a backyard wrestling circuit are not going to have the the privilege or the knowledge that somebody who's either been trained in amateur wrestling or professional wrestling. They're not going to have any of that knowledge.
Yep, I agree.
So.
So we have the barn. So Voodoo Jones breaks up the barn fight. He uses barbed wire.
And it turns into a legitimate attempted
Yeah,
murder.
Yeah.
And also, like, but they're doing like wrestling moves on each other. Like, this is the thing. It's a shoot or whatever. Like, he's attacking them, but he's attacking them with like body slams, whipping them off the ropes, like,
Yep.
things you would do in a real fight.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff again, you gotta peel back the old kayfabe curtain for the fans who are
shit.
listening and not in the know. Throwing somebody into the ropes is not a really good move to do in a legitimate street fight.
No.
If you want to know what to do kind of in a legitimate street fight, watch a little more UFC where there's some clutching and ground and pound, because anything that you're going to do in a wrestling match is not going to work too well in a legitimate street fight.
It looks really cool in video games and cartoons and all that.
And on wrestling, because
Yes.
they're participating and cooperating with each other.
Yeah, there's certain things that I like. Example: a slingshot would never work in wrestling, or it would never work in real
My
life.
brother and I used to joke about that so much.
with Slingshot?
Yeah. It's like, that would never work.
No.
Why does he... You have to jump for that to work. No one is going to catapult into the...
Have we seen a Canadian destroyer done in one of these kind of like movies or anything like that since that move's been popularized?
Not to my
That'd
knowledge.
be even more ludicrous in terms of just like that aspect of like fighting in the confines of using this scripted choreograph.
Yeah.
Also, so Lee has this fight scene here with Voodoo Jones, and I was actually like, knowing that he was one of the Power Rangers, it actually felt more to me like a Power Rangers fight.
A lot of these fights actually kind of really do.
Yeah.
There's one point he does a really nice Hurricane Rana, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty sharp little Hurricane Rana. Maybe he does have some, actual training. And then he did it like 15 more times. I'm like, nope, that's the only thing he knows.
And then we get one of the most infuriating things. So they leave and they're pissed off that they got this kid that wasn't trained or whatever. He was young, and Cole says, "Listen, I don't want to work for these jackasses anymore." It's like, okay, listen, not all the backyard companies do this. They all try to do it on the up and up. We'll work for the good ones, for the reputable
Good backyard wrestling.
the
I'm amazed that
reputable
Cole's Melts was able to cover
backyard
that fast after the barbed wire to it.
companies. Yeah.
Yes, he's garroting him in the mouth with barbed wire.
Yeah.
Blood's just pouring right out of his his
And
mouth.
no one is
It's a
doing
legitimate attempted
no one
murder.
is doing anything about it.
Yeah.
Everyone is literally just watching.
Can we move on to the fantastic, what's supposed to be newspaper montage?
Oh, you mean with the Times New Roman font and the stills of scenes
Yeah.
we've already seen in the movie?
Which are supposed to indicate for moments after when they're supposed to be happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Dogs win again.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what song do we get in the background, Nathan?
Backyard dogs!
Exactly. We hear that song at least 5 times in this fucking movie.
You pay for it, you're going to use it, right?
Yeah, man. Someone put the time and effort to make it.
So yeah, montage, and finally we get to the crux of this movie, guys, because we learn that Lee actually has a thing for Christy. This whole time.
Yes.
Because
Did it strike you that this, I mean, I'm going to reveal too much about my character, but that whole thing with they're all laying in the bed with the mirrored window, I've seen pornography that starts like that.
guys, if there had been more nudity in this, I would assume it was a pornography. It was a porno.
That's what the director wanted.
I felt that this whole thing, this felt like it looked and felt like the beginning of a scene from a porn movie,
Or what Ben Affleck's character in Chasing Amy wanted at the end of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
possibly.
thought. I really thought to
Actually,
use.
if I could make this sound more awkward, I felt that whole setup looked like the beginning of a scene from a pornography.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna.
From, pornography.
I thought she was gonna get double stuffed like an Oreo.
There you go. Yeah. You were complaining about my Duke University reference earlier.
Like
Chinese finger cuffs.
like a goddamn pair of Chinese finger cuffs. No, I really thought there was gonna be a threesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was. I think that's exactly what Lee wanted because he was pissed off at the way that whole thing played
Yeah,
out.
because Cole and Christy are basically almost making out right in front of him. And he's just like, man, I'm going to leave. And, yeah, and then we find out, and then they go to their next match, which was supposed to be in a steel cage. And Lee is just pissed off. So, by the way, Cole is ahead in the bet of who she should go on a date with.
Also, is that at an old zoo?
It sure looks,
looks
yeah. Oh, why
Yeah.
was there an old man? I feel like that old man sweeping the ring.
There was like a groundskeeper coming in towards the end.
Yeah,
to clean
that's
it up.
yeah.
I feel like he was legitimately the groundskeeper, and they were like,
They
You
just filmed
kids could just hurry up. I need to clean up into the bear cages over in the West End.
That sounds like a good new act for this backyard wrestling promotion with Dad.
we're out of film, just leave
No.
it in.
Sir Milosh got his start.
That's right. That's right. So they both get in the cage and they're arguing with each other. And again, here they have a wrestling match argument. Lee and Cole.
Yep.
Lee, I guess, kind of wins because he is gonna break his arm if he doesn't.
With the Hell's Gate?
Yeah. The Undertaker's submission hold he puts on him.
He took that, obviously.
And the other guy, yes, that's where the Undertaker got it. He watched Backyard Dogs. Wouldn't that be great if on the back of the cover it was just said like, very inspirational, Mark Callis. So they have a falling out. Lee hits the road. I guess Cole has that cage match by himself
Oh, jeez.
because we don't see
Yeah,
what
probably.
happened.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then it's back to the Backyard Wrestling Championship because guess what the match
In
is?
Beverly Hills?
Yeah, that's right. And guess who's gonna wrestle each other, guys?
It's dog versus dog.
Cole versus Lee. With some awesome.
I love
camera
how when
work.
they were setting the whole thing up, Nash was like, that Nash, by the way, is the Van Patten who was promoting it, and then his other brother Nash comes in later, but they're talking about how we're going to be the only ones videotaping it, so we can have exclusive rights for the pay-per-view deal. Meanwhile, Christie's camera guy is videoing it on the down low with the biggest fucking camcorder ever stuffed in his jacket.
That was hilarious. At first, I thought he was just gonna like cover up most of it, and I was like, okay, whatever, fine. But then he takes the whole camera out.
And they were wrestling for the WWF Intercontinental Belt, weren't they?
That's what it
sure looked like it,
definitely
yeah.
looked like.
Yeah,
that,
okay.
though.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one alone. You know that
So
one.
Cole and Lee get in the ring, and they're like, you know what? I can't hit you, man. I can't hit you. And I'm like, okay, then have a choreographed wrestling match, you fucking idiots.
Yes, exactly. But before we get to that, we look. If we go back to before when Christie's cameraman with his low key big cam was filming.
Wait, he had a low key brand camera.
No, a low key big cam.
What is it called? What is it called? Angry muttering.
If you listen to What Happened When, you know what a low key big hog is. Anyhow, he's filming it, and you see it through the lens, like, because it's black and white, and it's got that the framing with the record, that effect that they do. Then they show a shot of Lee walking down the hallway. Who's filming that? Because it's shot through his lens.
Cameraman's clone.
It just shows up and then disappears.
I don't.
Anyways, let's continue. Where they should have just had a choreographed wrestling match.
Yes, exactly. Since they're all
let's work the crowd,
quote unquote, trained.
Get them whipped up to a frenzy. Look, I'll get. You take some heat.
Yeah.
Then you'll get some back. You'll get your shine, and then we can send it home.
Wait, can we
smart? Can
we talk about the clientele in the crowd?
Again, this is why it would not take place in Beverly Hills.
Basically, a bunch of retired people.
Really well-dressed people, too.
Yes, it reminded me of the last fight in Lionheart, but everybody was way more excited in those scenes.
Yeah, they're basically at a rich person's retirement home, and everybody is, like, very classy, wearing suits at this backyard wrestling championship. The point is, listeners, that doesn't happen.
And when all this stuff is going on, even though they go through all this, and I actually have my note. I started taking this note. Man, Hayabusa hasn't even shown. Oh wait, there he is.
Yep.
Well, I think first they have to defeat Voodoo Jones and his partner, who I forget. I think it's one of the guys from Gold's Gym from earlier.
Right.
It's not Alcatraz.
It's not Alcatraz. No. And they find out that, guess what, guys? They're like, we want to get out of this backyard wrestling thing, and they're like, Nash shows up and he says, I couldn't have said it better myself because you guys just made pro.
That's how you graduate.
That's how it happens, guys.
Yep.
When you do really good, the promoter comes back and says, you just made pro.
When you do really well.
When you do really, really good. When you're
really
good.
Well.
When you're well. When you do gooder than what you've been doing.
Ugh. Go on that other podcast.
When you're more gooder than what you were before. But yeah, they basically tell him, you made pro, and all of a sudden Christy is like really upset. And Cole, they kiss, and it's gross.
He kisses like a moose eating an apple.
They have less kissing chemistry than, I assume, the kissing chemistry of John Cusack and Joan Cusack.
Oh! It's a real Donnie Marie situation, eh?
That's right. Like they both look like they don't want to be there. And for her, in her spot, I feel bad for her.
And she keeps going on about how they're not ready. How in the hell does she know if they're ready or not?
She's a wrestling expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Real Paul Heyman over here.
Well, it's...
Was there Dr. Laser shoot in this? Or
there was a trained EMT at this backyard wrestling promotion
wearing a leisure suit,
right?
Yeah.
Because at all backyard wrestling federations, just the reputable ones, guys, they have doctors on site
in leisure suits.
Yeah, well, yeah, casual doctors.
Right.
Is it just me, or did it look like there were giant penises behind Hayabusa?
Oh, the dick windows, yeah.
Patty actually said that when we were watching it. She's like, "Are there donks behind that?"
So
it looks like two penises are running at each other.
Right,
and they look like they are. The only thing that's more distracting than that is just the limo. Sometimes it's raining out, sometimes it's not.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about this meeting. So this is our heroes. Meet up with
you mean Hayabusa?
Yeah, he's a
no,
hero.
our heroes, the backyard dogs. Come on, guys.
Oh,
those guys.
They meet up with Hayabusa and the
I think what you should say is our hero meets the heroes.
With Hayabusa and the owner or the American promoter for FMW, Parker.
The other Van Patten.
Parker Nash.
The other Van Patten. They're legit brothers.
Oh wow. It would have been great if there was just the same guy. The same actor.
We were talking about it, Ryan and I'd said it would have been much funnier considering the name dropping and stuff they do in this movie if their last names had been Steiner.
Yep.
There you go.
Which one's Scott? Which one's Rick?
Yeah, but do you think this movie...
Or even if they've been Rick and Rob,
Oh my
Steiner.
God,
That would have
yes.
been hilarious.
Well, let me ask you this though, guys: do you really think this movie even knows who Kevin Nash is?
I'd hope
If
so.
they're mentioning even Stone Cold
And they're talking about Goldberg
if-
and Ted Turner and WCW. I'd hope they'd at least know who that is.
I feel like that was just a mistake.
or just Nash sounded cool.
Yeah. Stone Cold, Goldberg, what does he want for his arena? Anyway. So we get a little, this is probably the best part of the movie because we get a montage of FMW.
Yeah, we get Terry Funk.
But I gotta say too,
Your mother's a whore.
I'm pretty sure
As he's blowing fire.
I'm pretty sure this movie added in sound effects to this montage because there's a lot of horrible sound effects.
Yeah, like right at a Rocky 1 of just like force.
Crack, smash. Like just
Wilhelm screams.
yeah. Oh, if only, man. If only. It's kind of weird too that immediately about 5 minutes after meeting him, Lee starts referring to Hayabusa as sensei.
That was, like, the fuck.
A little, kind of borderline like racist, maybe.
Well, not only, no, because if we're to believe that, Lee is legitimately trained in martial arts, yes, he would show the sign of respect to his teacher
Yeah.
by calling him sensei.
Yeah.
Not just some dude you just met.
If
Hayabusa has never taught you a damn thing.
If I'm Hayabusa, I'm like, dude, no. I said I was gonna train you like soon. What the fuck?
Look, it's Busa, okay? Just a little,
Yeah. And remember,
because that's how the naming convention works. So the last name's first and the first name's last,
Bruce
right?
H.
Right.
He was actually wrestling as, I think, H at the time, not even as Hayabusa in FMW.
Oh, there
you're
you go.
saying this movie got something wrong about wrestling? So,
I'll say this about Hayabusa: he's no Sho Kosugi.
all right then. Although
right.
I will say this, Hayabusa probably the best actor in this movie.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Although I will also say,
Still, I gotta say the best gear goes to that 14-year-old kid at the barn fight.
legitimately, I will say at this point, at least the Power Ranger has some charisma, and at least
Yeah.
Bree Turner, I don't think she's awful either. I think that guy playing Cole is just the shits though.
Yeah.
But it's you can't do anything if you're in this movie. You're not saving anything.
Now, the next thing, which is like the I guess this is to be the crescendo, the climax of the film coming up, is supposed to be a pay-per-view
Yeah,
in Las Vegas.
I think so.
It's at a junkyard.
At Las Vegas Junkyard
Yeah.
with Crazy Casey.
No, he was the best actor.
Okay,
Keep calling everyone sugar britches.
when Crazy
Sugar Richard and Skinny
when
Boy.
Crazy Casey attacks Hayabusa during their training and they have that wrestling fight, afterwards when he's yelling at him, there is a noticeable jump cut.
Well, it's like he's like in the same spot that he was before he entered the ring.
Yeah.
Just like I came in,
I'm gonna get
standing up, and then I'm gonna leave standing up.
I'm gonna get you, Hayabusa. It's like I wonder how many takes they went through before he knew how to yell properly.
50.
50. He's like Alec Baldwin in that 30 Rock episode where they're trying to get him to act.
And the I guess where he keeps calling them sugar britches. Something really Oz about that.
It is.
Yeah. And I don't mean the wonderful Wizard of.
Oh, you mean the steel bars of?
Yeah.
Keep going.
That's all I'm gonna do. I don't want to pay the $100.
It's only 50 because it's off the air.
Okay.
So yeah, we get the
I actually have a note. It's like Road Wild, but with better production value.
Road Wild, ladies and gentlemen. For those folks who don't know, was a WCW pay-per-view done in front of a bunch of bikers at a Sturgis motorcycle rally, of which they did not sell a single ticket, and it was 100% free.
Yeah, and nobody gave a
No,
shit.
because they are bikers and they don't really care. They just like to rev their bikes.
Yeah, and they like to cheer who looked cool.
And they also like
regardless
to
if they were face or not.
They also like to yell racist stuff at Booker T.
Although I will say the best part of the, I think it's the first one is Bobby Heenan steadily getting more and more inebriated as the night goes on.
I mean, you had to, right? What else were you going to do?
True. I mean, I watched the pay-per-view and steadily got more and more inebriated as the night went on.
I'd say the most infuriating thing about that is if you tried to have a wrestling match. Like, I remember it was like Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko, and they had
That's exactly what
an
I was thinking.
amazing match, and these people just booed the shit out of it.
Because they did not, they did not give a shit. They actually, if Road Wild or Hog Wild, as it was originally known, had been presented by XPW or CZW,
Yes.
or even ECW, maybe not, but because they actually did have some legitimate wrestling matches, I think it would have been more well received by the crowd because there's no real like match or psychology going on. It's just dudes wailing on each other with bats. So the Backyard Dogs actually would have played really well at Hog Wild when you get right down to it.
It's true. They would have had just about the people in the crowd probably would have had just about as much talent or even more.
Yeah. So Crazy Casey reveals who his tag team partner is, and it's gasp Voodoo Jones.
Yeah, he's back,
Bebop and
baby.
Rocksteady now.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Twist.
Very apt, Ryan. Very apt.
This turns into a Turtles movie at this point.
Well, there's a Power Ranger there, so
Oh shit. Power Ranger versus Bebop and Rocksteady.
Finally.
Yeah, right? It's about time. So they have their tag team match, and it's fucking awful, obviously.
Well, Crazy Casey and Voodoo Jones, they cut a bit of a promo first, and we get one of the only real like legitimate go-to wrestling things that they get right in this movie. And in that when they're cutting their promo or yelling at each other, one of them is constantly calling the other one pal.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I expected them to say brother more in this movie, though.
You say brother about your tag team partner, you say pal about the guy you're fighting. That's how it works.
Oh boy. So the tag team match happens.
And again, this is a legit fight. It is assault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because anybody who knows anything about any professional wrestling is that it is a work.
Yeah, none of that training that you got from Hayabusa, which is just him crashing on a crash mat, is going to help you.
Also,
in this.
guys, I just want to bring something up. I don't mean to backtrack too much, but was I hearing things, or did I hear one of the promoters say that all of a sudden Cole and Lee are now from the farm?
I didn't catch
I'm
that.
pretty sure he said they're both farm boys, and I was like, Lee is a ninja.
Well, I mean, Japanese farmer.
He's not supposed to be a farmer. Anyway,
Haven't you ever seen Seven Samurai?
he's not. He
There's farmers in
doesn't
Japan,
have
you
a
racist.
farm boy gimmick, for God's sakes. It's an inconsistency with this film, and I'm pointing it out.
Just the one, eh?
Just that one, only
no,
one.
it's just
man.
that one thing.
Because they're not super inconsistent with the blood placement on Cole with his bandages and stuff. Sometimes it's really thick and bleeding through. Sometimes it's not there at all. And sometimes it's just a little pin dot of blood.
I think you're thinking of another movie. Yeah. So, they win. They beat the heels after some dramatic moment where Cole is about to leave Lee high and dry. He flies off the roof.
Yeah, the
But
callback.
he comes back as the paper
Because
boy.
Lee is like, it's the paper boy. He always delivers.
Ugh.
It's the moment we were waiting for. And they win.
Actually, the moment I was waiting for came about like 5 minutes later.
Credits.
Yeah.
Well, they win, and Cole gets his gross kiss with Christy again.
Again, he cannot
No.
kiss. Like, just, he is the worst at kissing.
Either he cannot kiss, or she was just like, I don't want you to really kiss me.
I'll agree with both.
There you go.
And that is Backyard Dogs.
No.
Backyard
Which, by the way, this film was made by Doggy Style Productions.
Ugh.
So 2000.
What Were They Thinking is brought to you by HostGator. HostGator is a leading provider of shared, reseller, VPS, and dedicated hosting solutions. Award-winning support is available 24/7, 365 days a year via phone, email, and live chat. Discover why over 9 million websites trust HostGator. Use the coupon code SCHLUCK for 25% off your first purchase. That's Schlock, SCHLOCK, for 25% off your first purchase.
What Were They Thinking is brought to you today by GameItAll.com. Whether it's video game news, the latest in music, or movie reviews, GameItAll.com is your one-stop shop for all nerdy talk. I have a question.
What's that, little Hulkster?
Hulk Hogan?
That's right, brother.
I mean, someone who sounds like Hulk Hogan, but copyright-wise is not technically Hulk Hogan.
That's right. Sure. Why not? Don't internet search me.
Okay, my mom doesn't let me use Google anymore anyway.
That's probably for the best, little Hulkster.
Wait a second. Maybe you can help me.
I'll do what I can.
I'm looking for all the wrestling news, rumors, and all the results, and I can't find them anywhere.
Well, let me tell you something, little Hulkster. If you need your fix for internet wrestling rumors and results and all the inside information, you're going to need to go to WrestlingNewsWorld.com. If you're not there, you're not anywhere, brother.
Wow, thanks, kind of Hulk Hogan.
Sure thing, little Hulkster. Remember, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and go to school and all that other stuff, because I'm not really Hulk Hogan, so I don't know what he'd want to say.
WrestlingNewsWorld.com.
What were they thinking?
Oh, so guys, recommending it?
No, not at all.
Only the last 5 minutes or so. Or just anything with Hayabusa.
Okay, actually, I will say that Ryan and I watched this movie many, many years ago.
I introduced you to that movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Ryan it's his fault.
No problem.
And we were watching it at a friend's house, and he came in the room while we were watching it, and he was like, "What the hell are you two watching?" And then we explained to him what we were watching, and he promptly left.
Marching up the stairs, just chastising of our choice.
He was just so disappointed with our life choices.
I mean...
And then watching back,
He's
he's
young.
right. He finally is right after 9 years. He's right.
I told Patty that I had seen this before, and she was like, "When?" And you chose to watch it again?
Well...
And she's like, "How drunk were you?" And I was like, "We weren't drunk."
Well, I guess at this point, Nathan?
We've come to the part of our show where we switch over to our NPR voices and bring a little class and civility to an otherwise unruly podcast where we present the low haiku.
17 wonderful syllables to, break down what we've just broken down.
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it. Later, Garrison Keeler.
You said Keeler.
Yeah, I did it before. Actually.
Every
It's a
single
joke.
time. Every single time.
Every single time.
Thank you.
So, who would like to begin?
I believe it's your turn to start off.
Okay. Well, much in the spirit of one of the lines in the film, here is my low haiku. Hey, the room, bite me. Hey, Highlander 2, bite me. It's backyard dog shit.
Oof.
Thank you. Thank you.
Backyard dog film. Hayabusa can't even save. Play the theme again.
Snap, 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 snap. I had to say snap because I can't snap my fingers.
Wow, it really is. It really is a trial to be you.
Yes. So that was the low haiku, everyone, and it was a pretty good movie, but don't take our word for it.
Don't take a word for it.
Take
hear
our
this.
word for it. Take our word for it. This movie is trash.
What was that, Brent?
trash.
So let's look and see what the critics thought of this gem.
I'm guessing it's probably going to be the same thing as what we thought of it.
This is the first review, and there's only one line, and I almost just laughed out loud.
Trash?
Nope, I almost just laughed out loud reading it. It's from Christopher Knoll at thefilmcritic.com.
So you say Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan said, "This inspired me to make Dunkirk." No. Christopher Knoll from filmcritic.com gives it a 2 out of 5 and says,
Ooh, that's generous.
says, the acting is not nearly as bad as you'd expect.
Spoiler alert, yes it is. It's got a 17% audience score.
How?
Hayabusa?
Maybe.
Was it the entire roster of FMW? Oh. What's the other review that's there, Nathan?
Walter Chaw, because there's only 2 reviews. Walter Chaw from the Film Freak Central says, "You know you're in trouble when the title of your movie comes from a moment in which a character steps on a pile of dog excrement."
Yeah. Very true.
There are no audience reviews.
Oh, no, there are. I found some.
Oh,
If
are
you
there?
actually click on the audience reviews.
Oh my god, there are.
This is my favorite one because it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's from Coach Brady.
Is it another review of like Knoxbury Farms?
No, not this time.
Okay.
It's from Coach Brady. He gives it 3 stars. And his review is, "If you haven't seen it, you're not alone." What?
Yeah, well, Rocky R gave this thing 5 stars.
Ooh.
Wrote awesome movie. It had the Black Power Ranger.
Oh, this is
For some people, that's,
So did Power Rangers the movie.
this is
it had more Power Rangers in that.
this is a great review. This person gives it half a star, and he said, it's Chris S. And he says, "Shit, that's what this movie is? Don't waste your time."
Again, we have another Power Ranger fan who gave this thing 4.5 stars. It's so bad, it's great. Where else can you see the original Black Power Ranger backyard wrestle?
That, I guess. Can't think of any other movie that I could have brought.
No, I'm coming up. I got nothing.
The rest are all like, yeah, no, I got nothing either.
What? Okay, this is the last one I'll read. It's from 1 star. "This was god awful. Everything from the story to the characters to the camera cuts. The actors were cool. Some
weren't.
became real wrestlers.
What?
Snake Duggan.
Snake Duggan and Voodoo Jones Valet. I don't think his last name was Valet.
No, Voodoo Jones is. It should have an apostrophe there.
Okay.
Valet, because Ryan had actually mentioned earlier that he thought that one of the floozies that was with him was Shelly Martinez.
Oh, that's possible.
I couldn't find a credit for her though.
Well, they did spell Hayabusa wrong.
So there you go.
So,
Oh, here she is, Gwendolyn. Wow, that's an interesting way to spell Shelly Martinez.
Frederick Douglass. Oh, weird. I didn't even know he was still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should know again, guys. 17% audience rating. It's a big old not applicable on the tomato meter.
Yeah.
Ryan,
It's got dash.
Ryan, do you have anything to plug?
Just my Twitter account at SlackerRider.
Great.
Yep, that's it. I got no other projects right now.
Is there a simian in the house?
Yes, I'm here. Been waiting this whole time to you nonsensical dunderpates stop talking.
Have you been sitting there the entire time?
But yes, what are you going to do on a Sunday afternoon?
Nathan, why did you invite him at the beginning of the show?
You know what? For all the stuff that he has said about us, he deserves this
You're
torture.
right.
Bless you.
Well, Montrose, we're giving you the platform right now. Shill your stuff.
Hello! It's your good friend Montrose Monkington III here. I just like to take this time after I've listened to these three numbskulls go on to invite you to check out my Facebook page. Montrose Monkington III Esquire and Friends. You can also see my YouTube channel, Montrose Monkington TV. More recently, I've had a vlogcast that's trademarked, Montrose Monkington III Esquire, 2018, where we've talked about the some great and some not so great past wrestling pay-per-views. This one being the most recent of No Way Out 2005. And some fellow who looks an awful lot like Ryan, but isn't Ryan, was there. We had a great time with that. And you can also see some of my past events where I've reviewed other pay-per-views and just, done some fun stuff. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Montrose III. That's the number 3 RD on Twitter. Recently, I actually met the chaps from Letterkenny. So nice. Not like you three.
Wow.
Well, no, I can accept that.
As you should.
I'm not gonna accept that, you son of a bitch.
I feel that you should burn in Hades.
Feeling is mutual.
Yes. Well, guess we shall agree to agree then.
Perfect.
All right. I will take my leave of you, numbskulls, you knuckle dragging ne'er-do-wells.
Get out of here!
Good day.
God, is he gone?
He left. He was pretty well.
Thank God.
You know what? I don't know. It's just the British.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, my history's not good, but I think they're mad because we took their land.
Or rather, we just decided to stop, paying tribute. To
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
No, I think we conquered the UK. That was in 1937, if my history is correct.
They had the Canadian invasion.
Yes, the Canadian invasion of Birmingham, England. Oh, right. Well, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at WWTT Podcast. Twitter and Instagram at WWTT Podcast. We are also on Facebook. You can just search What Were They Thinking and you'll find us. We're also on all the podcast platforms. You can pretty much all of them out there. Podbean, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Al Jazeera Network, the Teddy Ruxpin Appreciation. What is it? Teddy Ruxpin Appreciation Society. Human Sentai Pod.
Pod
Kit Knife, Backyard Dog Aficionados. I can't even joke about that. We're not on that channel.
But not Disney.
No, not Disney, but we are on ABC. ABC's Cartoon Animation Domination.
That's Fox.
Oh, well, we're on the ABC one.
Okay. So we're on Spark and ABC Family.
Yes, ABC Family. We're also on Treehouse TV at midnight.
Are you guys gonna be on the Dumont Network?
Yes.
Too?
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, we also got a spot on CNN. Whenever there's no breaking news, we're in the left-hand corner of the screen.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's why you only saw like wavelengths.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's about it. I guess do you wanna? I guess it's my turn to give a little Hinsky.
Yeah, you're giving the old Hinsky, bud.
Well,
pitter patter, let's get at it.
Okay, well, I will say.
Don't chorus, get the chorus.
All right, well, let me just give it.
Come on, Brendan, make what.
Let me do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks. Well, in 2 weeks, to continue our wrestling themed month, we will be doing.
He said he wanted to get to it, and he's just taking.
We will be doing.
No,
Can you let me explain?
Yes.
Thank you. To continue our wrestling theme month, in 2 weeks, we will be doing a terrible WrestleMania, much like we did last year. So I guess to hint at this WrestleMania, I would say 2 for the price of 1.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing. That's what you get.
2 for the
2
price
for the
of
price
one.
of 1.
All right.
Yeah. But I got a question for you, Nathan.
What's that, Brendan?
Well, this movie, right? This movie, Backyard Dogs. In a movie where, first of all, before I do this, actually, we should thank Ryan.
We should. Well, thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan, for watching this terrific film with us.
There, we got that out of the way.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
Wait, where'd he go? Ryan! Okay, so in a movie where the filmmakers clearly have no idea about anything to do with wrestling.
None whatsoever.
In a movie
Whatsoever.
where the best acting comes from a wrestler who is not a trained actor.
Mm-hmm.
In a movie where a trunk match happens.
Yes, that's the thing.
In a movie where wrestling is choreographed until the shootout happens.
Ugh.
And in a movie... Oh, you know what?
Yeah?
What were they thinking?
Hey, do you like movies?
Hey, do you like podcasts?
If you do, then come on down and listen to the Home Video Hustle podcast, homie.
Hustle, hustle.
Every Friday, we talk about whatever movie PJ picks out the bag. What does that mean? Well, every Wednesday on our YouTube page, I pick a bunch of movies at random. Sometimes there's a theme to it, sometimes not. PJ picks the movie out, and guess what? We watch it on Friday. We talk about it for about maybe an hour and a half, whatever we feel like doing. Might give you something good to watch, baby. Come on down every Friday.
So come get your hustle on with Home Video Hustle.
You can find the show on any podcatcher app, or you can come down to homevideohustle.podbean.com. All of them in one place for you, so you can go ahead and binge it like it's Netflix. We ain't the Defenders, but I like to think we a little bit better than that. Come holler at your boys, man. Come chill with us. Peace.
Peace.
It's time, let's check our queue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. With a one-liner plot holes and gratuitous movies. It's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy at eilfm.podbean.com.